Hi everyone, and welcome in this video. Today I want to discuss with you the effective way to get rid of most of data from a large table in Oracle. For example, if you need to delete 90% of the data from a login table. Using DML like delete statement would most likely take an eternity and will generate a huge amount of redo and undo, as we will see in this session. Unnecessary redo and undo represent only a stress for the entire database. Usually, delete statement should be used only to remove a small amount of data. Starting with the second version of Oracle 12, Oracle introduced an elegant way to achieve this. Namely, the DDL alter table move was enhanced to move only a part of the data using workflows. So it is possible to move and reorg only the data that you need. For example, alter table, large table, move, including rows where ID smaller than certain value. Only data that meets this condition remains in the table. So let's create a test table to check the syntax. So I will just create a table with 100 rows. So select from dual and connect by level. So just to demonstrate the syntax. So I created the table, and when we select from it, it just contains one column, 100 rows, and the count. And you see now I'm using the syntax alter table move. I will just delete where ID smaller than 50, and you see, so the count again, yeah, we see that some rows were deleted. And we can even truncate or delete all data by providing a condition that can never be true, where 1 equal to 2. So no rows meet, no row meet this condition. And you see now you see that the table is empty. So this is a new way. This feature was only introduced in the version 12.2. Does this mean that we must use a DML statement to delete data in version older than 12.2, for example in 12.1 or 11.2? Certainly not. There are many ways to achieve delete data without using DML. In this session, I will show you another method based on the Partition Exchange. Using Partition Exchange doesn't mean that the target table should be partitioned, but we can create work table that is partitioned, and we create partition with only the data that shouldn't be deleted, and we perform Partition Exchange. So in this session, we will compare 3 different methods for deleting data from a big table. The first one based on DML, the delete. Second one is the Partition Exchange, based on the Partition Exchange. And the third one based on the new feature introduced by Oracle, and we will compare and see which one is performance. We compare the elapsed time. So I will do two tests. First test using table with 600 megabytes, 1 million rows. Second test will be done with a table 6 gigabytes size and 10 million rows, just to demonstrate and see the difference between each method. And to generate synthetic data, I will use this query, create a big table. I'm just selecting, you see, I try to create data uniformly spread over all blocks of the table in such a way that the test is more realistic. So I'm just joining dual connect by level. This is known trick to generate data. In the first example, I will generate 1 million of data. And as you see here, the result of this, sorry. So you see now the data are uniformly spread over all blocks. You cannot infer that from here, but if you check the query, you will see that. And the test, we will iterate over all those years and in each iteration. But before doing that, I'm creating some test table. I'm preparing the test table, a copy of the big table. I wanted only to avoid waiting long for the result, so I did that in advance. And you see here all my test table, and you see the size for each one, about 600 megabyte, sorry. And I will write one loop. I will iterate over those table, and each time I will delete using one method from the tree. I will delete first time, as you can see here, 10%, 20% until 90%. This is the iteration, this is the loop. And you see I am, we can even move data in parallel, so I will test that as well. And I wrote this function just to gather some statistics, like the amount of generated redo and undo, as you can see, because this is important information to decide which one is the performant one. We will do the test for also the other method using DML. So delete, as you can see here, delete, and we gather similar to the other method, we gather the same information using that function. And the third method is using the exchange partition. So I am just writing this function to perform, to create, and you see this is the method. And I'm just creating a work table, temp work table, partitioned by range. It is known trick. I'm just using a dummy column, the first one, and this is possible for each table. The temp table will just contain one partition that holds the data that that holds the data that will remain in the table, and we perform the partition exchange in the same block. And you see here this is the result. So in this the first two columns deleting from we have the result one table for with the 1 million feature records from Oracle, the move, alter table move, include the rows, and I deleted with without parallel processing, and with parallel processing I just use it dop equal to 4, and this is the same for the partition exchange, and the delete method is the last one. And here is the table, the result, the elapsed time. So I just, it is only the elapsed time. I didn't count the CPU, because because we will see there is really a huge difference. So, and so in the diagram we can see that clearly, that the DML method is not suitable to delete a huge amount of data, maybe deleting 10% up to 10%. We could, but we will also later see that this method generate a lot of redo and undo. So it is better to avoid this method as much as possible. We see also that the winner here naturally is the new Oracle feature, but the method used in partition exchange is also a good option, especially for those still using the older version. And here we take a look into the the amount of generated read and undo for all the method, and we see that again the winner are the DDL methods. So, and we see that the more we delete data, the better the method is the method. And we see here that for the DDL methods, so hardly those methods hardly generate undo or redo. So I did the test, the same test. I repeated the same test with the table with 6 GB, and you see here the result. It just confirm all what we have seen. So the new methods are very performant, and you should use them whenever you want to get rid of a lot of data.